A new study of the first 2 years of Ontario's regulated internet gaming market finds that most gamblers are using regulated sites, but the unregulated market is still sizable. The study, commissioned by the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, found 20% of online gamblers used a combination of regulated and unregulated sites. The province established iGaming Ontario in April 2022. Ontario's recent budget projected the province will see revenues of $174 million by the end of this year. Joining us now to discuss the ongoing debate over sports betting is Brendan Caldwell, Director of Caldwell Securities Ltd. Brendan, thanks for being back with us.
Always good to be here, especially when I get to do a rant. Let's do
Well,
this.
Brendan, you are extremely passionate about the topic of sports betting, so please tell us why.
Oh, wow. Just let's start with your introduction. Did you ever notice that everything that used to be illegal is now run by the government? And shockingly, like marijuana, apparently people still buy it illegally and still people do unregulated gambling. I am shocked, Julie, shocked at this. Well, what to say? As with every other vice that the government decides to take over, because there's just too much money in it to ignore, it will very soon become addicted to the tax revenues. And these are entirely regressive taxes. As a percentage of their income, poor people bet way more than richer people. So that is the definition of a regressive tax, where people with less means are taxed at a higher rate than people with more means. And that's what gambling, and indeed all the vice taxes really are.
Now, today is Toronto Blue Jays opening game. We have
Woohoo!
three with three major sports playing at the same time: baseball, hockey, and basketball. Why is this trifecta dangerous for young people and betting?
Well, I don't know if it's more or less dangerous than looking at the eclipse today, but why is it dangerous? I mean, from a standing start just a handful of years ago, with the gateway drug of pools, which were generally speaking just for bragging rights, the gambling has become a major thing. I mean, if you look at any sporting event now, all around the stadium or arena, or if you're watching it on television, all of the advertising, not all of, but the single largest portion of the advertising in both media and on the venue is for sports gambling, whether it's DraftKings or Bet365, or even Connor McDavid telling us to gamble responsibly, the way people have drunk responsibly or used drugs responsibly for all those years. So it's going to be a thing that is, but young people are particularly going to be susceptible to, because that's who's being targeted. And I wouldn't be shocked if they all of a sudden realize that, wow, most sports are also played by young people.
Mhm.
The very people you're targeting with your ads, the ones that know how to use the apps, they're the ones that are actually playing the games. What do you mean some of our actual athletes are gambling as well? I don't know where they think it's going to end up, but I have some suggestions, but I'll let you ask another question before I go too far.
Now, in February 2024, the advertising rules changed in Ontario regarding celebrities and sports figures. They are not allowed to endorse any sports betting app. Do you think that this will make a difference to young, impressionable lovers of sport?
It's not quite that, as I understand it, Julie. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but a year or two ago, you did have Connor McDavid on the TV with Wayne Gretzky, whose family should be nowhere near a gambling with their history. It should be nowhere near a gambling site, but leave that as it may. A current athlete talking about why you should be using this sports betting app. I mean, what? So now what they actually are allowed to do, as I understand it, is they can do ads about responsible gambling. Brought to you by Bet365. Brought to you by DraftKings. So what they can do is, if you think you or someone you love has a problem with gambling, call this number. Brought to you by Bet365. So really all you're trying to get with a sports endorsement is the athlete or celebrity figure and the name. And this loophole is still there. And I think the problem is still there.
Now, what was sports gambling like 100 years ago? Has anything changed? We have 30 seconds.
You're asking me because I think I was old enough to remember the Black Sox scandal of 1919. Well, I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. You're going to have young athletes take their own lives. You're going to have refs being threatened. I think you may even see murders. This is going to, I know that sounds extreme, but I think you will also see the golden egg that is professional sports. The goose is going to get itself killed. They just overdoing it and overdoing it. I mean, does anybody take boxing seriously now? The ultimate gambling sport? Gambling will eventually destroy one or more major North American sports. Just putting it out there.
Brendan, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Julie.